You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. The latest from the desk of Ali Akhmadov Promotions, Muzdiman versus Angelina Lukas in what is a domestic Kazakh rivalry. The discussions for this possible bout are already heating up. Two strong boxers of Kazakhstan can pass in the same ring and prove who is the real number one. Who do you think will win this match? I know who I think will win, and I know who I think is better. Muzdiman sports a professional record of 9 wins with no losses and no draws, 7 recorded knockouts. To me, there is a clear distinction between Beluza's work and Angelina's. To the eye, Beluza is clearly better, at least to me.
Talking boxing or you talking aesthetics?
Talking both. I've likened Muzdiman to a Kazakh Megan Fox if she boxed like Gennady Golovkin's, because that's who she looks like out there. That's who she resembles. She's mean. The seasoned boxing fan who has seen a lot of boxers come and go will recognize the ability of Beluza, that she's not just a pretty face. This is a well-schooled boxer, and it jumps out at you when she's in the ring, whereas Angelina strikes me as a bit of a gimmick boxer.
Yeah, she's easy on the eyes too. She's got a big chest.
Really big breasts.
Sporting a professional record of 15 wins with 1 loss and no draws, 8 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 16 professional bouts, she has more fights and more rounds in the bank than Beluza, but I've seen her and I've not been impressed.
Having debuted as a professional in 2021, Angelina Lukas has been busy. She fought a recorded 5 times this year, with 2 more fights set to go down next month against opponents that have yet to be announced. When you schedule your fights that way, it gives it away what kind of opponent you're going to be fighting.
No hopers.
2 fights in the same month, just a few weeks out from each other. Yeah, she's likely going to fight some no hopers.
Though she has been busy, she has been active, racking up experience whenever she could, and that's a good thing. But I still view Beluza as the better boxer all around. She's been pretty active this year too, having boxed 3 times, once in April, again in June, then again in September.
At the rate they like to schedule these fights, there's still enough time to get Beluza out there against a no-hoper of their own.
Why'd you call Angelina a gimmick boxer?
The thing with Angelina is she strikes me as one of these female fighters who they are attempting to sell due to her feminine wiles, her aesthetic, that she's got a pretty face and a big chest, and she just so happens to box. I mean, I've seen her, and she ain't that good.
Yeah, but you could say some of those same things about Muzdiman. Let's not kid ourselves. She's got a pretty face, and she's got a similar thing going on. Beluza's handlers are using her aesthetic just as much as Angelina's handlers are using hers.
They are, and I don't deny that. The distinction is how well they box, and you have to see them in action to really pick up on it, that Beluza is by and large a more polished boxer than Angelina Lukas. When it comes to Angelina, I've heard some interesting things. Her lone defeat came at the hands of Chile's own Daniela Asenjo. She has 2 fights with Daniela, one that she lost and one that she won this past June in what was their rematch. And I remember hearing after the fight that Daniela and her team were threatened. The rematch took place in Angelina's native Kazakhstan, and I remember hearing that there were threats upon Daniela's life if she did not throw the fight.
Been hearing a lot of stuff like that about Angelina Lukas and her team, that there is more going on there than meets the eye, and when I see her in action...
I mean, just imagine that you're Daniela Asenjo, and you're in the other girl's country, the other girl's backyard, and you're receiving death threats if you don't throw the fight. These are the allegations that are out there, and when I see Angelina, I don't see a polished boxer.
It's not saying that she can't fight at all, but she just doesn't look very good. Slow, flat-footed, leaves herself wide open to be countered.
Combinations are not neat and tidy. Her fundamentals and her stance, it's all very leaky, very loose-to-goose and sloppy.
Like I said, there is a clear distinction between Angelina's boxing acumen and Belouza's. The outcome of the fight, to me, would seem all but a foregone conclusion if not for this allegation that Angelina, via her team, threatened her opponents.
I don't know how true that is, I just know that it's out there, and because it is, it's a factor. It is something that you have to consider. Though based on boxing, to me and to the eye, Belouza Muzdiman is clearly the better boxer of the two, and if they fight, I favor Belouza to win. These two fighters campaign at or around flyweight and super flyweight.
I don't know yet at what weight their contest would take place, and the fact that Angelina already has 2 fights on the schedule for next year, I don't get the sense that Belouza is going to be one among them.
Fight with Belouza seems like something for the coming calendar year, something that they might do then, and if they do it, I favor Belouza to win.
But what's crazy is this guy just told me when your samples got sent to a lab.
Yeah.
Supposedly they got sent to the wrong lab first. They checked out the stuff, said I didn't have Austrian in it. Then they had to repackage it and send it to the VADA labs that they approved.
Yeah.
And then it came back with Austrian. Crazy.
So they tampered with your shit.
They for sure did, 100%. Because I would never cheat, bro. You seen what I did
It's your
today?
life. You're not gonna risk your life for one fight.
So I win all these other fights clean. Then supposedly I'm cheating against Devin Haney. Come on. They're bums. Fuck them all. Fuck Devin Haney. Fuck Bill Haney.
You just gambled.
Fuck the whole. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all y'all. You guys could all suck a dick. Not even my dick. You can't even suck my dick. Suck another dick. Fuck both of you guys. You guys are all pussies. Straight pussies. And fuck you.
Oh my God.
So Ryan Garcia is back to asserting his innocence and diverting blame to anyone but himself. He's blaming VADA,
Accusing them of tampering with his samples, and it's funny because in doing so, he leaves himself open for a defamation suit. You're accusing them of tampering with your samples and deliberately tainting them. That might affect their business.
might affect whether or not boxers actually want to use the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association on the premise they might be scared that their samples get tampered with like you claim that yours were tampered with. But Ryan Garcia doesn't strike me as a guy who thinks about what he says. That in saying that, you've left yourself wide open for a defamation suit.
Because he doesn't think about what he says, and his fans don't either. He's given you so many different versions of this story. So is it that your samples were tampered with, or is it that your supplements were tampered with? Because not that long ago, you were blaming that.
That's where you said the Osterin came from, that the Haneys or somebody on that side got their hands on your supplements and put something in there.
So was it the samples that got tainted or the supplements that got tainted? How many different versions of this story do we have to hear, and which one are we supposed to go with? And what is likelier than not? That Ryan Garcia is just another dirty boxer who got caught like so many other dirty boxers that got caught. What's likelier than not?
The difference between his performance against Devin Haney last year and how terrible and flat he looked in the Romero fight this one. The difference.
Ahead of the Romero fight, you were coming off a doping suspension, you were in the hot seat, subject to rigorous testing, so perhaps you weren't able to use your Osterin, and that's why you look so different from the Haney fight to the Romero fight.
Now, it would seem that he's gotten his backbone back and his zest for life. I suspect he's back on the sauce. He's back on the Osterin. And the next time we see him in the Mario Barrios fight, I suspect that he will win.
I think he's gonna knock Mario Barrios out. I think he's gonna become WBC champion because Ryan is nothing without his Osterin.
Thought you said that you don't care about doping in the sport of boxing because you think everybody's doping.
I don't care, and I do think everybody's doping, but if I am to address Ryan's version of the story, I think his version of it is all bullshit. I think he deliberately took a banned substance. It's obvious because his story keeps changing.
Yesterday it was that you had tainted supplements. Today it's that they tainted your samples. Gets away with making up stories the same way a 12-year-old would when he brings home a bad report card.
It's not the lizard people hiding in the NutriBio or clandestine Illuminati agents tainting your supplements. Put simply, you didn't time your cycle right, so you got caught in the act. With over 60 times the legal threshold for Osterin in New York State. A whopping number.
Now claiming that his next fight will be his last fight with Golden Boy Promotions as his primary promoter. Golden Boy would be involved for 2 more bouts after that, but per Garcia, likely as a co-promoter, saying, I think that relationship just needs to move on.
They couldn't offer me any amount of money to stay with them.
And when it comes to his tenuous relationship with Golden Boy Promotions, I don't think he's lying. I think that if he could leave, he would leave as soon as possible, though whether or not that's after the Barrios fight is subject to some debate, because where he says that's his last fight with Golden Boy, Oscar said the contract with Ryan is airtight and actionable for the foreseeable future. He's not going anywhere.
Well, for argument's sake, let's just say that Ryan's contract is ending. Why would Oscar lie about that? What's that supposed to do?
Prevent any potential suitors from making him offers that he can't refuse. In essence, buying Golden Boy Promotions time to sweeten the pot and keep Ryan Garcia on board. That's at least one reason why Oscar might not be honest about what's going on. If the powers that be become aware that Ryan is set to become a free agent in the not-so-distant future, the Sharks are going to start to circle.
And they may offer Ryan more money than Golden Boy Promotions can offer him at this time. Thus, they don't want people knowing.
They might want people to believe that Ryan is still locked in with Golden Boy for the foreseeable future. That is at least one reason why Oscar might be lying about this, if he's the one lying.
There's not much reason for Ryan to lie about something like that. That there's no point in just saying you're going to become a free agent very soon if you're not. I think they're both liars, Oscar and Ryan. But Ryan has less reason to lie about this than Oscar. I don't know that Ryan is lying on this one. What it could be is maybe Ryan doesn't understand what he signed, or he's not lying.
He's gonna become a free agent soon.
And if he does, where does he go? He doesn't want to stay at Golden Boy. He doesn't like Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Top Rank don't have a broadcast partner, and the PBC barely have any money or fight dates. If he becomes a free agent in the not-so-distant future, where will he go?
Go to MVP. Ryan Garcia can go to Most Valuable Promotions, let's be honest. He's more social media influencer than pugilist, which would make him a good fit.
Could do a fight with Jake Paul. After Jake gets his head knocked off by Anthony Joshua, he can rebound with Ryan, or try to. Ryan doesn't have the mind for business or become a promoter himself.
He's too scatterbrained, too stupid, too immature. These days, you could spit in the wind and hit Joe Boxer that claims to have his own promotional outfit with no stable, no network deal, no money coming in save what somebody else is paying them.
Being a promoter is not as easy as these boxers make it out to be, and Ryan Garcia himself ain't got the chops. Too stupid, too immature, and no mind for business.
If he leaves one promoter, he's gonna have to find another, and the best fit for him would have to be MVP. More than Matchroom, more than Top Rank, more than the PBC. MVP is right up his alley. So they've rekindled the spark for what could be the Devin-Haney rematch on the premise that Devin just won his last fight and became a welterweight champion, and very soon,
Go, Bevan!
Ryan Garcia could become one as well if he beats Mario Barrios. Devin Haney, responding to Ryan Garcia's comments, said he failed the state commission test and the VADA test. Stop the cap. That's why he looked like shit his next fight when he was clean after we made him do testing for 6 months straight.
What the fuck is he talking about?
He's talking about the New York State Commission's drug test in addition to the 2 positive VADA tests, all of which came back positive for Osterin. The Voluntary Anti-Doping Association was in possession of one set of samples, and the New York State Commission was in possession of another, separately. And all those samples came back the same. So when you say that the only reason you popped hot was because VADA set you up, did the state of New York set you up also? Because they would have had to.
Why would they need to do that for little old Ryan Garcia, which allows us to circle back to my initial question. What's likelier than not? That the state of New York, in tandem with VADA and the Lizard People, as well as the Illuminati, all conspired to set up Ryan Garcia, or that he's just another dirty boxer like a lot of dirty boxers.
I mean, look at how different he looked from the Devin Haney fight to the Romero fight, that he was widely favored to win by everyone, myself included.
I don't really have an appetite for a rematch between Devin and Brian. I think Brian sucks. I think he's a terrible boxer, and Devin, while he's supposed to be better, he's really fucking boring. And I ain't got no skin in the game, no stake in him getting his revenge. I don't care that much. This welterweight division depresses me.
I like it about as much as I like getting a root canal. And I was talking about it just the other day on a live stream.
Undisputed.
Does it really even matter becoming an undisputed champion against this crop of welterweights? Ryan, Rolly.
Ugh.
Devin has taken a step in that direction by beating Brian Gore-Tex and now targeting Rolly Romero for a fight. Rolly's still got his WBA, and while he has it, he's a person of interest for Bevin.
Go, Bevin!
Hill Baney has already started the campaign for a Rolly Romero fight, saying, "Is this man high, drunk, or delusional? Henry, come get your clown. We want the guy that knocked your son down and beat him up. You remember the same Rolly, you didn't want a rematch. Ryan is unfocused, too emotional, with too many excuses. Send Rolly. We're ready." But is Rolly? Remember what I told you, he's on the hook to satisfy a mandatory challenger in Shakram Giyasov before he can do anything with anybody else. You have to sort that out.
My stars and stripes. Rolly is build up for Ryan.
Me try not to throw up in my own mouth from excitement. I have no real interest in Haney versus Romero or Haney versus Garcia too. No vetted interest.
I don't know if you guys do.
But the only one of those three guys with any actual boxing acumen is Devin Haney, except that Devin is boring. He's very good at what he does, but he's boring to watch.
Rolly sucks. Ryan sucks even more.
I think the people in boxing, particularly the ones in America, have forgotten what draws people to sports in the first place. It's competition. It's seeing the best fight the best. And neither Devin, Ryan, or Rolly represent the best in show. In boxing, maybe the best of the welterweight division, the best of the rest.
The best of a shit show, tantamount to being the tallest midget.
And I imagine that if they made a fight between Devin and Rolly, it would be a pay-per-view. And if he fought Ryan in a rematch, that's another one. Not even because the public is demanding it, but because the fighters are demanding so much money, the only way to get it to them is to bill it as a pay-per-view, which is the opposite of a sustainable business.
It used to be that public demand creates fights, created pay-per-views, but who's really demanding for Devin to fight Rolly, besides Bill Haney?
Now the Ryan Garcia rematch is a bit more marketable. That's a bit better. That could do something on pay-per-view, but I'm not pressed to see that fight either, because Ryan Garcia is more social media influencer than pugilist, and Devin, while he is a serious pugilist, he's also seriously boring.
Who wins the fight?
Who fucking cares who wins the fight? I don't know. I think it's all contingent upon how much Osterin Ryan gets to use, or how much he doesn't.
Full dose? He beats Devin up again.
But if he's subject to stringent testing and he doesn't get to use his secret sauce, maybe Devin gets his revenge, and maybe they try to bill this as a trilogy, one of the most uninteresting trilogies.
No gracias.
What passes for a hot ticket in today's welterweight landscape in the American boxing scene, where I'd rather watch two feral cats go at it on the streets of Moscow than these guys.